afternoon, everyone. My name is Edina Lekovich, and I'm proud to have served with the Muslim Public Affairs Council for over a decade now. I feel like I've practically grown up here. And we are so proud to have you all with us here today to kick off our final Unconvention 15 session, where we've turned MPAC's annual convention on its head by taking it out to communities and coming here to culminate with this session before we have our annual banquet in a few hours. Thank you all for being here and joining us. Before we begin this session, I would like to introduce MPAC's co-founder and president, Salam Al Mariotti, who will kick off the Unconvention and banquet for the day.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, Salam Alaikum, peace be unto you. Thank you for joining us for this panel and hopefully staying with us for the banquet tonight. It's our 15th annual banquet, and it just seems like we started these events so shortly ago, and we are growing. And you're going to see tonight, hopefully, how MPAC has become a national voice on so many issues. Tonight, and today, this convention has the theme of celebrating our shared humanity. And what a timely topic, because it is our shared humanity that will help us overcome the ideology of hate, whether that hate is manifested in the form of international terrorism or in the form of xenophobia and hate crimes here domestically. We need to have a united front along both lines. And people have been asking us since the San Bernardino tragedy. First, they ask, what is it in your religion that causes people to do things like what happened in San Bernardino? Our answer is, our religion is telling us to do exactly the opposite. Our religion is about mercy and compassion and justice. Our religion is about, if you save a life, it's as if you save all of humanity. If you kill the life, it's as if you've killed all of humanity. Apparently, they are not reading the same text that we are reading, or it is not being processed. We are a religion, they are a cult. We are actually the nemesis to terrorism. We are the antidote to terrorism. And so the more we can empower mainstream communities, the more we can overcome and prevail against that violent ideology. Number two, they ask us, why aren't you speaking out? And our answer is, if you go to the website of all the Muslim organizations, you will see documented the condemnations of terrorism over and over again. But it is obvious that we cannot make this problem disappear with press releases alone. What is required is civic engagement and partnership, so that those who are working with us as partners help us amplify the message. We demonstrate our work to the American public so they see us as the example and the standard bearer of our religion, and they see the cults and the fringe exactly as that. They are the fringe aberration, like every religious group has fringe aberrations. And more importantly, they see with our partnership with law enforcement that we are the answer to the problems of people's insecurities and fears in America. So our partnership with law enforcement means that we will work on the ideological, social aspect of the problem. They will work on the criminal aspect of the problem and the criminal investigation of the problem, and we work hand in hand in partnership. That partnership will help us overcome these challenges today. We're really proud that we have with us today Chief Mike Downing from LAPD. We just wrote a joint op-ed with him in the Washington Post about partnership. And I see other people from the LA Sheriff's Department, the Department of Homeland Security is here with us. They are here to say, American Muslims, this is, to American society, this is the home for all people. Muslim, Christian, Jew, people, Hindu, Buddhist, people of all faiths. They are here to protect us. To protect us against anyone that is trying to harm us. And the way to overcome the problems of xenophobia is to not be intimidated by them, to show strength in numbers. So I thank you for joining us to show that strength in numbers, that we're not going to be intimidated. The day that we can stand together, all Americans, and tell groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda, "You cannot terrorize us," will be the turning point in defeating that radical ideology. They want to influence audiences by terrorizing people. When we have the stamina and the perseverance and the strength and the resolve to say, "You will not terrorize us," that will be a turning point. Finally, they ask us, "Well, aren't you frustrated all the time? You see these terrorist incidents and you got to worry about backlash, and you're just commenting on terrorism and backlash over and over again." The answer to that is yes and no. Yes, there is friction. Yes, there is a heavy weight on us. But at the same time, this is our plight. This is our moment. We are here to change the narrative of Islam in America, that Islam in America is part of the pluralism to contribute to civilization where we can enrich society with our contributions, and that America will recognize the vital contributions of American Muslims. When we achieve that vision, then we feel that we have succeeded in our goals. So the terrorism that is emanating from the disintegration of the Middle East, from the problems overseas, we cannot control, but we can control the environment here. That is why this panel is important. How do we get our message out so we control our own narrative? And with that, I thank you. I hand it over back to Adina to lead us in this discussion. And again, congratulations. And Adina, she said it. She started here 10 years ago when she was 10 years old. We're so glad to have her. She's been on radio and television doing a wonderful job. So with that, please give her a great round of applause to lead us in the discussion.
Thank you, Salam. We are gathered here today as a culmination of a series of events that we've held all around Southern California for the past couple of months. When we took a step back as an MPAC team and thought about the 15th anniversary of our convention, this annual experience where we gather together to talk about the issues of the day, to take stock of where we've been for the entire year, and to think about the possibilities ahead, one of the things that came first and foremost into our minds was the changing nature of our communities and the changing nature of the ways that we convene as a community. 15 years ago, annual conventions and convention halls were the norm. It was the space where Muslims came together to meet, to exchange ideas, to go shopping in bazaars, and to meet old friends and new ones. Today, conventions are not the way to go. You don't have to go to a convention center to interact with the movers and shakers and thinkers in society who are shaping some of the very issues that are impacting our daily lives. You can go instead online. You can go a lot of places. What we decided to do was to turn our convention on its head so that rather than calling all of our community members to come here for a day of programming, that we would instead go out to communities so that we could bridge the gap and so that we could listen to communities and also bring to them the voices that they may not be hearing in their local areas, the voices of change who are leading the changes that we would all like to see in public policy, in public image making through media and Hollywood, and through new innovative projects both online and in person that are changing the nature not just of our community, but life beyond. So you may be seeing some pictures on the screen of some of the 5 unconvention sessions we've had around Southern California. The first one took place at the Islamic Center of San Gabriel Valley, where we had a fast-forward session where we featured up-and-coming voices, 5 up-and-coming voices from inside of our community who are leading change in innovative areas. The second session we had was at the Islamic Center of Southern California, where we looked at the issue of homelessness. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti declared a war on homelessness this year and has declared that we'll end homelessness here in Los Angeles. It's a regional priority, and it's one that hits close to home for Muslims because it's one of our core values to take care of people who need the extra help to get back on their feet. Our third session was held at the Islamic Center of Conejo Valley in what we did there was a Let's Be Honest forum, where we brought together diverse panelists, a counselor, an academic, an attorney, and a young leader to talk about the taboo issues that don't get discussed in our communities very often. And that was in front of an audience full of Muslim young people as well as Mormon young people, who had a great deal in common about the social issues and the religious challenges that they were also facing. And we had a fantastic conversation about everything from relationships and dating to our scriptures to how we make moral decisions and a host of other things. Then we moved to Orange County. We went to the Orange County Islamic Foundation, where we considered Muslims on screen and asked ourselves the question, is it getting any better? That's part of what we'll come to today. But we had there with us up-and-coming Muslims, some of them actually very well established, I should say, who work in the industry to give us a first-hand account of whether things are getting any better and where the opportunities for change are. And that was a really tremendous session. And then we wrapped it up last week at the Iman Cultural Center in West LA, where we talked about confronting Islamophobia, learning lessons through the lens of other faith communities who have been challenged by marginalization themselves, including the Mormon, Catholic, and Jewish communities. The lessons we gained there are more valuable than ever, particularly considering what the events of this week. This session is called New Era, New Media, Opportunities for Change. And there couldn't be a more appropriate time for us to consider the meaning of this. When we came up with it, the new era we had in mind was not this one that we are looking at today. But certainly all of us as Americans are facing a new era in our country because of what took place in San Bernardino. And new media, the intersection of old media, new media, digital media, virtual media, and all kinds of other ones that I probably haven't heard of yet, are changing the very landscape of what it means to be an active citizen and an active participant in conversations.